Hello, this is Sheikh Haj Ahmed. I'm from final year Bioelectronics. Today I have selected the topic of microeconomics and application of supply and demand. So, what is economy? Generally, we'll be listening like a country's economy is going down, country's economy is rising, and India's economy is 5 trillion, and we are right now in fifth position. What does this mean? So, an economy comprises of all the activities related to the production, consumption, and trade of goods and services in an entity, whether the entity is nation or small town. There will be economy separately for city, state, and the whole nation, etc. So no two economies are identical. So what does this economy is made of? How do we calculate an economy? So it is dependent on geography, history, law, culture. For example, if you take India, India's economy is mostly based on agriculture and industry. For example, if you take any Gulf countries, it is mostly based on the petroleum resources because the petroleum is the resource which they find there. But in India, the soil is in a way that we cultivate here and produce more agriculture. It is a system which provides people the means to work and earn a living because an economy is in different stages. For example, if we take industry, industry owners, they give jobs to multiple people, people come there, work, and they earn. For example, what are the parts of economy? If you see the pie chart here, this is the chart of United States. So we can see the total economy in United States in that 33% contribution is by industry and manufacturing, 28% by transportation, 21% by residential, and 18% commercial. Whereas if you come to India, it is more of agriculture and industry. And so these are some of what are the major contributors for economy. For example, if we see Tata IPL, which is right now going on, it's a part of economy. People come there, the people buy tickets, and IPL pays for rights. Geo paid for the television rights. In this way, the government earns the economy and whole all the process of spending and earning goes in this way. For example, Tata, India, world's biggest steel producer, Hindustan Unilever, India is one of the biggest food brands. These kind of people, they these are kind of organizations. They have they have different factories and industries where people come work. They pay them. They sell their products. These are product-based companies which earn through that. And what are the vital functions of economy? For example, if you see economy, there's a production. It's like, for example, if we take industry which is making chocolates, the production there is chocolates. And consumption, what does they need to make a chocolate? They need cocoa powder, they need milk, they need plastic wrappers to wrap the chocolate and stuff. So in this way, for building an economy, the production is needed, the consumption and capital formation. They need some kind of fund to run the company because they need to pay the employees, they need to spend for raw materials and stuff. When you get all these, it is a company's economy. The same thing happens with when you go to like nationwide. So, what are the resources, factors of production here? So, we can see a chart here. In this, we can see there are four factors of production. One is land. Land is the place which everyone needs. For example, if someone wants to build a factory, they need a land to build it. Someone wants to like farm, they need a land to start the agriculture. Someone want to install education, install some kind of factory, or if someone wants to build an education institute, they need a land and labor. What is labor here? So, for example, if you take industry, there are all employees, everyone are labor. For example, if you take education, the teachers and people who work there. And when we come to the capital is some certain amount of money which is people like use it before they start the company. For example, if someone wants to start a company, they need a capital amount of around 100 crores, 200 crores to build a factory, to hire people, to buy raw material, and start a process. An entrepreneur is something like which we can see right now in India. It's like a trend of entrepreneur. Like we have been making so many entrepreneurs since last 5 years. So everyone they start the company and they become the like they don't become an employee. They give employment opportunities to many people. According to that, this kind of entrepreneurship gives a rise to Indian economy. That's the reason government is helping all the entrepreneurs that are coming up by giving different grants and stuff, because they help in the rise of economy. For example, if you see a picture here, we can see the land which is needed, the capital here. You can see the tractor, because people need money to buy tractors for farming, and people need, if you say an IT company, people need to buy laptops and stuff and give it to their employees so that they can work on it. If you see a data center, they need some kind of storage. For that they need land and thing. Labor, here you can see different kind of different class. You can see a nurse, you can see a farmer, you can see a rock mason, and an idea like people. You can see people coming with an idea and going like collaborating with managing people and starting an entrepreneurship journey. So this is the most one of the best pictures I have seen. The economizing of resources. In this picture, like generally, this is the biggest problem in many countries and many organizations, that they don't use the resources that they have. For example, if you see this picture, this guy is trying to protect his eyes from sun, but he has glasses and a cap to protect it. So he has two different resources which he is not utilizing, which is generally problem in today's world. If you see, there is a lab, people are buying new equipment, but they have something which already exists, which they can use. It's just simply spending of money. If you see this guy, he has so many ladders, but still he doesn't have enough. He's not using his resources properly. If he would have used, he wouldn't have wasted on these many ladders to just climb and see behind the wall. And what is economic problem? We see generally nowadays, we say like our neighboring countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan, they have economic problem. Like it's a problem of choice involving satisfying unlimited wants out of unlimited resources having alternative uses. For example, if you see, there are like population of 100 people, but they are generally, but they are producing like agriculture. For example, they are producing agriculture only which is enough to 50 people. So here comes the problem of economy, because there are 100 people, but there are only 50 people's food. So here comes the problem of economy, because they don't have enough resources to manage the population. So this is the disturbance in the economy. Then we say the economy is going down. Well, let's see, scarcity of resources is one of the contributors in economy, because resources are limited in relation to their demand, and economy cannot produce all that people need. That's what we were discussing about. For example, if there is a production of petrol, if there are like 10,000 cars running, the petrol which they are producing is not enough, because it is because of scarcity of resources. Then economy starts falling, because the demand is more and the supply is very less. So in this way, the economy goes down. At the time, government takes plans to go to alternative resources like hydrogen, or for example solar power, and like we are moving to EV, etc. Second, unlimited human need. Generally, human is someone who don't get satisfied. People say that if we just give a human a whole forest filled of gold, he dreams for a second one. In the same way, generally, if we are being giving many facilities, just if we take a chair as example, the olden days chair was a wooden chair. We have been changing it, like as the years were passing, we were been changing it according to like comfort of human. Now we get a chair even for 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees. We get massage chairs and stuff, because we don't have any limit to our desires, in which we just go on, pass on, and demand many things. And companies come to serve us for the demands, but still our demands, when they're unending, and if there is something more to the demand at the time, that still it hurts the economy. And third, which we already spoke about, alternative resources. This part comes when the natural resources, for example, we have been using petrol. When we get the scarcity of petrol, or for example, if the amount of petrol is just reducing in the world, at the time we go to the alternative resources to manage our living being. This kind of stuff actually boosts the economy. For example, if we see here, there is a plane attached with solar panels. We can see a car with solar panels, a home with solar panels, and even a train with solar panels. These kind of initiatives help boosting the economy, because this is the free resource which no one uses. For example, sunlight is like it's just like every day we see sunlight, especially in summer, especially in India. So we can use those kind of resources which is free, and help our economy. And we can see what are the application of supply and demand. So generally, supply and demand has a kind of relation, and government and all the organizations try to manage them, because when there is a high demand and less supply, it hurts the economy. When there is a high supply and less demand, it still hurts the economy. So economists believe that there are small number of fundamental principles that explain how economy agents respond in different situations. Two of these principles are the law of demand and supply. So here the law of demand and supply, here government acts a very important part here, because government can pass laws affecting market outcomes, but no law can negate these economic principles. For example, if you see like share bazaar, generally we see the shares go down, go high, they go high. Sometimes they just triple in a month. Sometimes it comes down by one by third in a month. We see in this there are many influencing factors, because for example, if you see Tata Steel, their demand just goes on, because steel is in demand, everyone needs it, so they supply. For example, if you see some medical company, during COVID they had high demand. After COVID, the demand fell. That's the reason the share value goes down. And but government has a very important role here, because they make law. So, what are price ceilings? For example, we generally hear that before a year we had a high price of onion, because onion was being sold at 150 rupees per kilo. What is the reason? Here, the thing is there was a high demand and very less supply. So the resource is very less here, which at the time the cost of the thing which is being sold, goods, goes high. So generally, what it happens is government sets a ceiling, which is helpful, to run a market. For example, if you see this graph which is given here, this is the price floor. I mean, which we'll be seeing in next slide, and this is the price ceiling. Price ceiling is something set by government. Above that, selling is a kind of crime. So we can see a supply and demand, and you can see at this point, this is like optimal point where the supply and demand are equal and the costs are moderate. When you see the demand is high and supply is very less, then the cost goes above price ceiling. This same thing happened with the cost of onion before a year. And you can see price floor here. So the price floor is something, for example, if we see, sometimes we hear that farmers are throwing their vegetables. For example, tomatoes, sometimes they go below 5 rupees a kilo. At the time, just farmers start throwing it on the road, because they just travel so far from their village to some city to sell, because they just throw it because they can't take them back again. At that time, the demand is very less, but the supply is huge, because of some reason, like there is more rain or there is more crop. Because at the time the government plays important role, because they just set a price floor under which they cannot sell. This is a very great initiative. But what happens is, sometimes when the demand is very less and demand is very less and supply is very high, at the time the cost goes below price floor. At that time, all the farmers or industry people have to sell in loss. So trade inefficiency, getting a good deal or making a good deal. People make transactions because they value the same goods differently at a margin. For example, if you go to a market and if you want to buy tomatoes, we can see it at different prices, because some sell at 10 rupees, some sell at 12 rupees, some sell at 15, some 20. It changes according to months. But if you take it in the same day, there are many different ranges of tomatoes depending on quality and stuff. So we try to get a good deal, which is like trade and efficiency. The efficiency should be in such a way that the buyer and the seller both, it should be like a moderate between graph. So marginal analysis, comparing the benefits and cost of choosing a little or little more or a little less of a good. So it's the same way that we need to find an optimal solution for the trade. The trade is something when we buy something and we give them back something. When in olden days they used to trade for something else, like they used to give a kilo of rice and get a kilo of wheat. But right now we use a mode of money, cash. So the trade and efficiency, this thing just boosts the economy and keeps it going, because if the trade collapses, the economy is going to collapse, because the world runs between trade. When something happens and the transaction happen, the government receives some kind of tax which is used for the development of nation. Thank you. So this is Sheikh Khaja Ahmed from BTech Mechatronics final year. Thank you for your time.